Hater alert. Hater alert. Hater alert. Nigga just mad. He didn't get toys.
You knew it was coming.
DanganRonpa.
In all the years I spent as an Ace Attorney fan, there hasn't been a series recommended to me more than this one. If you've been recommended it, you know what I mean. If you haven't, good, run while you still can. And that's not to imply almost everything about DanganRonpa is bad, because I'm actually stating it, almost everything about DanganRonpa. DanganRonpa was developed by Spike Chunsoft and made by Kodaka. Without further ado, let's find out if this game is worth your time. It's not. DanganRonpa takes place in Hope Peak Academy, and we're introduced to our first main cardboard boy. Interesting main character, Makoto. He's been accepted into the school because he's the ultimate lucky student. What the fuck? Everyone in the school is the ultimate something. Don't ask why, they just are. And the teddy bear tells them to kill each other if they want to get out. Don't ask why, they just do. Even after the ending, for my sake. So let's start with the good stuff. Everything from the intro to the main title screen gets you hyped to play the game. And to be honest, DanganRonpa did have me hooked a number of times during my first playthrough. So for example, the first case where Sayaka dies and Leon's the killer. Now the reason this sucked for me was because I spent all my free time with Sayaka and Leon. And I do believe there's an element of thrill to be had in not knowing which character you bond with can end up being a victim or a killer. Another thing I really like about this game would have to be the truth bullet mechanic. It's such a cool and unique way of presenting evidence, and while it can get a little tedious, I like the idea of using other people's statements against them and presenting them as evidence. And it feels really satisfying to do. And while we're on the topic of satisfaction, while I think a lot of the trial music is forgettable, I do enjoy a lot of the tracks outside that. I like the calm tracks that play during peaceful times, I love the investigation tracks that play when someone's been murdered, and I love the resolution music is pretty good too. Climactic reasoning, New World Order, all that snazz. But you can't tell me that the discussion music doesn't sound like filler rave music. Yeah, I thought so. So the main gameplay gimmick, the presentation and music are all great for the most part. Sure, I wasn't big on the art style, but okay, it still hasn't grown on me, but it at least stands out as something solely for DanganRonpa. Like, there's no other series I know with this sort of art style, so it immediately makes it recognizable. This is Ace Attorney, this is DanganRonpa, this is Professor Layton, this is DanganRonpa, this is a bad anime, this is DanganRonpa. Well, wait a minute, there's immediate potential in all of it. Now let me tell you why I think they screwed it up. Let's begin with the cast of characters. There's 15 of these guys, 16 if you count the twist near the end, and every single one of them is bland as all hell, devoid of any real character outside that ultimate trait.
God, you are four of the ugliest fucking kids I've ever had the misfortune of laying my eyes on. I can't wait for this bitch to kill you.
That's a big issue. Ultimate. Through distinguishing each character through their ultimate, like ultimate baseball player or ultimate biker gang or ultimate detective, their character becomes an utmost cliche of that. So what do I mean by this? I mean, when they create the ultimate biker, all he's gonna do is swear at you and be the walking personification of stereotypical masculinity. When they create the ultimate role model, he's just gonna be a character who tries to maintain order and uphold the rules, like a stereotypical anime homeowner. When you create the ultimate detective, her entire character is just gonna be her being an OP detective that expresses little to no emotion. If you're seeing what I mean here, the characters are bland and one-dimensional. You can't look me in the eye with a straight face and try to explain the intricacies of Afumi, the ultimate fanfiction writer. This is a conceptually flawed way of constructing characters because the game limits them to these cliches. And because of it, none of the characters are interesting or ever expand beyond that. They say do the 3 times and you'll learn more, but you really don't. The biggest example would actually be Kyoko. He's the character I interacted with most after seeing Sayaka and Leon betrayed me. But after I completed her free time, I felt like I was dealt more questions than answers. She tells you little to nothing, and when she does hint at something, she cuts you off and leaves things vague. You'd assume this is because of foreshadowing things for later in the game, but no. This is all you're getting out of Kyoko. I'm an OP detective. I don't talk much cause I don't. I'm a cliche anime character. Cause that shit's lazy, and if you want to get into laziness, let's get into the actual mysteries being presented. They're all predictable with easy case logic. I'm reminded that I played this game on the highest difficulty on my first playthrough. Yet a lot of this stuff is pretty basic. Like, I remember when I first played the first case of DanganRonpa, and I saw the writing of Leon on the wall, and I thought, it's probably nothing. It's probably something that's gonna be subverted, and I'm gonna have to defend him, right? But no, the answer is right there in your face, and when it turns out Leon was the killer, I was disappointed. And the later mysteries don't get much better. And in some cases, the plot is extended beyond a natural lifespan for no reason. In case 2, Tagomi messes with a crime scene just to pin it on Genocide Jack, but he does it for no reason. And that's another thing, Tagomi's a bad character. And that's not because he's made to be a prick or anything like that. Various forms of media have shown you that you can make a likable prick, and more importantly, a well-written one. Dagomi's an asshole for no reason. He talks down to you and the game tries to make you sympathize with him near the end, but I couldn't give less of a crap. His quote-unquote redemption arc is poorly handled. The game tries to play him up as the pretentious smart one, but my god is it done poorly. Look at me, I'm reading from a low angle. What an interesting character. Like, stop it, alright? A lot of these characters seem to die before they even get character development anyway, like this girl. Generic shy anime girl. Go ahead. She actually does want to make an effort to become stronger. It's interesting, but then she dies. Same applies for the generic Cormoner. He spends a passionate night in the shower with Mondo. They become best friends. Mondo's caught for being a killer. He freaks out and goes Super Saiyan, and then he dies. Instead of constructing an arc about overcoming a friend's death, he's degraded to a running gag that isn't funny. These characters have little to no development whatsoever, and when they're set up for it, they die. DanganRonpa feels like a kid's game. Don't let that M rating fool you. The mysteries are simple, and so are the characters. The humor consists of childish sex jokes, excessive swearing, and pretty much anything you expect from a game trying to prove it's rated M. Now believe me? Alright, check this out.
You son of a bitch!
Better kick your brain in the ass!
Either way, I'm gonna rip you to fucking shreds!
You SOBs! I don't remember! Ain't a fucking excuse no more!
Gotcha, you little piece of shit!
Hell, there is no world anymore, remember? It got fucked a full year ago!
Shut the fuck up! Name's Mondo Owada. Nice to fucking meet you.
The problem with a lot of M-rated material is that it feels the need to prove that it deserves an M rating rather than actually being M-rated. This is something Dual Destinies does well. Just because a game is rated M doesn't mean all the characters need to start swearing at each other and making references to sex and genitalia. It earned an M rating, but it doesn't go out of its way to embrace it and force these things inside the game's writing. Dual Destiny sets a good light-hearted tone because of this. DanganRonpa wants to be light-hearted, but pulling stuff like this creates a clear imbalance. There's nothing light-hearted about sexual harassment.
You hear that? For just one little boob or butt grab, all of Earth, no, the whole universe can be saved from destruction!
Yeah, but it's still sexual harassment, isn't it?
Unless you're an anime. The gameplay mechanics managed to keep me more engaged though. As I stated earlier, I really like some of the diversity in what you could do with truth bullets. But at the same time, I feel like there's a bit too many. Like, there was a point where they were introducing new mechanics and they quickly add on, by the way, halfway through the game, good luck. Like, stick to one thing. Like, truth bullets are cool, but why am I doing rhythm games and playing Handman? This has nothing to do with solving mysteries. I don't want to go into too much detail about it here, so instead, check out this discussion I did with TheStoryteller. I mean, I know it's Ace Attorney, but shut up. A gameplay gimmick should complement, not distract. The main point of a mystery visual novel is to solve mysteries. If the gimmick you're creating isn't related to the concept of solving puzzles, get rid of it. It's disposable and distract from the point of the game. It's a cool way of piecing things together at the end of the case, and a good way of summarizing the events of the murder for the player. If you've been paying attention, it should be no problem. If you haven't, you're gonna mess up. It's a rewarding finale to what I find to be otherwise pretty underwhelming cases. I know it's different from each person, but for me, I find the twist predictable. I managed to predict case 4 before the investigation even begun, and it could be because of my experience with visual novels, but this game isn't winning any points in the mystery department. It was pretty underwhelming, but I stuck around for the ending. Oh yeah, the ending. Spoilers. Skip here. 3, 2, and 1. The ending is bad, and it's worse than the Phantom. I don't care what anyone says, this is a new level of bad. I could pick anything, from Jonko's nonsensical motives, to Dagomi's sympathy card, to the poorly handled hope vs despair theme of the arse pull of Naegi being the ultimate hope for some reason because he is. Toko, like, in general, she's just a bad character. Everything about the ending is bad, and explaining it here would just drag this video on, so I'm gonna do it anyway. I explained why Dagomi's sympathy card doesn't work earlier. Jonko's motives don't make any sense. She sets up an entire killing game for nothing but her own amusement. Why? Maybe because she holds a grudge against the characters? Because she's forced to by a higher power? No! She's the ultimate despair! Why would you do this? Alright. Why would you ruin the motivation of a killer by demeaning it to another ultimate? I went over this before, but I feel the need to drive it home again. Simplifying your characters to ultimates is stupid. It makes them nothing more than one-dimensional knockoff characters, and this would be fine if it wasn't your entire cast, if it wasn't your main villain. And she kills herself in the end, even though if she really wanted to win, she would have just killed them on the spot. It makes her entire plan pointless, and it makes it one giant excuse just to have the class trials and have the game exist. At the end, I didn't sigh of satisfaction. I didn't think about what a great experience I just had, and I sure as hell didn't cry for Dagomi. My immediate reaction to everything that just transpired was, what was the point? And how did they take down the killer that they've been building up to? A killer with a decent twist, something that had subtle foreshadowing to, something that was done somewhat well. With the superpower of hope, love and friendship, my god. Just because you have a theme doesn't mean you should be so blunt about it. Don't shove it down the player's throat. Even simple stuff like making Makoto the ultimate hope, it just screams arsepull. And last but not least, it makes him too special. A common trap that writers seem to fall under is making their main characters too special or destined to be the one to end everything. And while it can be interesting, it defeats the idea of nature versus nurture. Think about it like this. Makoto was just lucky. He didn't deserve to be in Hope Peak Academy. He didn't deserve to be with the rest of the talented students. He was even going to be the first one pinned for a crime. He spends his entire journey feeling insignificant and insecure compared to everyone else. But despite just being the quote-unquote lucky one, he still managed to make it. He survived up until that point. Makoto is by no means an intriguing character, but they had something going with him. You could easily construct an arc about learning that regardless of what talents you may be born with, if you work hard, you can surpass anyone. It's a cool idea to play with. But by making him the ultimate hope, you effectively ruin all of that. By making it Makoto's destiny to defeat the ultimate despair. It comes out of nowhere and it ruins everything they built up to with Makoto up until that point. It was a needless addition to a character who didn't need it, and they ultimately ended up subtracting from him as a result. It just turns him into another one of the 15 other characters, and it's such a waste, all for reinforcing a poorly executed theme. We learn nothing about Junko, and she kills herself in the end. That's it, and that's DanganRonpa. I know my thoughts should really be clear at this point. I like the idea, and I think it does a bunch right, but it falls flat where it matters the most. There's no point in wasting time and free time to hear Aoi prattle on about sports and donuts, or hear Hifumi talk about 2D versus 3D. It's all superfluous and it adds nothing to the characters. I'm sure the writing team had fun. I'm sure fans of the series had fun. And I'm sure the series is reaping the benefits of having multiple re-releases on different platforms. Take a hint. I did enjoy myself in my time with DanganRonpa, but if anything, this game could be considered a guilty pleasure. I played the game solely because I was a fan of the genre. Nothing more and nothing less. Take it from me, if you played Ace Attorney before, this game shouldn't wow you too much. It's almost like a beginner's visual novel. Like, I'd give this to a kid to play if they found Ace Attorney too hard. On second thought, no. DanganRonpa 1 is dumb fun. If you enjoy it, the more power to you. I mean, I don't understand it, but what can I say? The game's marketed at young teenagers who really like anime, and sadly, I can't budge on that. I love some anime, but designing your characters around the cliches is a bad move.
No, that's wrong! DanganRonpa's for mature, sophisticated adults!
Any game with a character described as ultimate gamer girl isn't made for mature audiences. But if you want to explain to me the intricacies of a character like Hifumi in the comment section, go ahead. As warned at the beginning, this wasn't going to be a very positive video, and I'm very aware that DanganRonpa 2 is probably going to be a big improvement. But that in no way invalidates my complaints towards the game. DanganRonpa, trigger Happy Havoc. I'm not annoyed at the sequel hook, I'm not annoyed at the concept, I'm not mad that the game made me read, I'm not IGN. I'm disappointed in the execution of an idea that seemed like it had some promise. I enjoyed DanganRonpa as a fan of the genre, but for a first game, it has a lot of work to do. I'm sure Junko's voice actor had fun, but I sure as hell didn't. I know the fanbase is pretty vocal, so like, don't kill me. If Danganronpa continues to improve and learn from its past mistakes, I do believe it can be something that rivals Ace Attorney. But if it keeps on doing stuff like this, then I think my hope is as grim as despair. With that said, thank you guys for watching, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. I'm TheStoryteller and I'll see you around.
It doesn't cost a thing to smile. You don't have to pay to laugh. You better thank God for that.